Hello, dear students. Welcome to What, Why, How, the daily initiative by IAS Baba, where we take up a current topic or an editorial and we declutter it in less than 10 minutes. The topic that I have chosen is something that is doing the rounds in the courts these days. This is basically asking as to what should be done with the people who are convicted. Should they be allowed to contest elections? Should they be banned for life? What is the situation? And this primarily deals with the decriminalization of politics, primarily to avoid people with criminal background, criminal cases from entering into the law making part of the government. Now, let's see what is happening right now. There is a case that is being right now looked into by the Supreme Court where the appealers have said that they want a lifetime ban on the people who are convicted and they should not be contesting elections. If they contest elections only, there could be an issue of them coming into the parliament or the legislatures. Now, when we talk about this kind of a provision, as of now, what the law that binds all of these activities related to disqualification, etc., is your Representation of the People's Act 1951. According to Section 8(3) of the RPA, you will see that actually right now, anyone who's convicted of a criminal offense and he's sentenced to an imprisonment for not less than 2 years, that is 2 years or more, that person is disqualified for contesting elections for the period that he's in the jail and then almost 6 years after the date of the release. So, in this total time, they cannot contest the elections. Further, Section 8(1) also says if it is of a very serious criminal offense like heinous crimes like rape, protection of civil rights, there is untouchability or unlawful association, which is your UAPA, or Prevention of Corruption Act, irrespective of the fact that if it is 2 years or less than 2 years, whatever is the period that they are in the imprisonment, they cannot contest elections for 6 years after the release. Further, we also have a law that says that Section 62(5) of your RPA says that if someone has to contest elections, that person should be an elector. That means he should be eligible to be as an elector. And it also stipulates that, so therefore, if someone is an elector, that person cannot be in jail. So they have said that a person in jail is not eligible to vote in elections. Further, finally, a very landmark judgment is your Lily Thomas judgment. In Lily Thomas judgment of 2013, the court said that, according to Section 8(4) of the Representation of People's Act, it allowed, basically that act had allowed a sitting legislature, that means someone who was right now in the parliament or in the legislature, even if they are convicted of an offense, they can continue for their complete term. But here in Lily Thomas case, they struck down this and said if a person is a sitting legislator and he has been convicted, then he will have to be removed immediately or he is disqualified immediately. There is no need to wait till his term is over. So all of these judgments are currently there, and despite that, you will also see that even right now this case has been filed. The reason being, there is also certain counter laws. For example, in Section 11 of the Representation of People's Act 1951, it says that the Election Commission can remove any disqualification or reduce the period of disqualification. That means that period of 6 years that the already that is being mentioned in your Representation of People's Act, this can be changed by the Election Commission. And this got recently done also. On September 2019, the Election Commission intervened and reduced the disqualification period of a certain legislator called as Prem Singh Tamang. He was the incumbent chief minister of Sikkim and he had to be not contesting elections for 6 years. They reduced that time period to 13 months, thereby allowing him to contest elections, and he won a by election over there. Practices like these provide a very counteracting force wherein you're trying to avoid convicted persons into your politics. So now what is happening is this case and the judgment of it, right now when the Supreme Court is reviewing this case, the Supreme Court has asked for the opinion of the central government, and the central government has said that the legislators are not like your normal IAS officers or IPS officers or general civil servants. If because they are not like that, they cannot be bound by the same provisions that they have. Now it was brought to this idea. Why? Because you will see that when someone is actually convicted of a criminal offense, they cannot even apply for a junior grade job in our country. So why is it that even lawmakers can be, having these criminal background and being into such an important position, is what the appeal says. Anyhow, the appeal has also been backed by the idea that in the current parliament that we have, 251 people, that is almost 46% of the 543 elected MPs, have criminal cases against them. And out of this itself, 171 are extremely serious criminal cases like rape, murder, attempt to murder, and kidnapping. Now, what is being asked is not for the ban of people who are in all scenarios. For example, even if it is a scenario of something of a very lesser offense, banning them for a lifetime would be a very disproportionate. But convictions that do not involve moral turpitude, so for that, permanent disqualification would not be an idea. But for serious offenses like these, they should clearly be kept away from the legislature, is what the appeal says. Besides, the powers that are vested with the election commission to reduce or remove the period of disqualification, even that has to be reviewed by the court for its constitutional validity. So let's hope that this case and its judgment is in the right direction to start the decriminalization of politics in India. I hope this issue has been decluttered. Until we meet again, take care and happy learning.